Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. This is the Morning Mindset, and I call it the Morning Mindset because it's aimed at helping you start your day with some tools to get your mind wrapped around the truth of God, to get the truth of God into you, into the way you think, so that you can face the day with that asset, with that power to look at things through a God-saturated perspective. So if you're not listening to these in the morning, it's not a huge deal, but you just need to know. That's why I've named it the Morning Mindset. And by the way, my name is Kerry Green. I'm a retired pastor, entrepreneur, life coach, business coach, do all kinds of things. But I'm here this morning to help you think through the issue of fear. Now, the last couple of episodes, if you haven't heard them, you need to go back and hear them because they introduce this topic of fear. And the point I'm driving at, which I think we'll get to today in its totality, that we create fear in our own minds, in our own lives. And I'm using this passage from Luke chapter 8, verse 22 to illustrate how that is true and what Jesus says about it. Now, Luke 8, beginning in verse 22 all the way through verse 25, is the account of Jesus and his disciples in the boat. They go across the lake, and a windstorm comes up, which puts them in danger. But while that's going on, Jesus is sleeping in the back of the boat, and the disciples become afraid. I think all of us in that situation would become afraid. It's a natural human response because in that instance, a real, legitimate danger was happening. In fact, the passage even says they were in danger. Yet, when the disciples wake Jesus and tell him they are perishing, and he does this miraculous thing of calming the wind with a command, calming the storm with a command, he rebukes them for their fear and for their lack of faith. He says, "O you of little faith," or "Why were you afraid?" You see, fear comes about because we're believing something is going to be harmful to us. And we could be believing rightly, like they did in this case, that the storm could harm them. Or we could be believing wrongly. And actually what Jesus is pointing out is that they, in this circumstance, were believing wrongly, even though the storm was a legitimate danger. Now, how is that the case? How were they believing wrongly? Well, I wonder what would have happened if one of those disciples, doesn't matter who it was, it could have been James or Andrew or Peter, if one of them would have paused in the midst of fighting this storm and stepped back and looked toward the back of the boat and seen Jesus sleeping there. And instead of feeling panicked and like we've got to go wake him up, if they had remembered the things they had seen Jesus do. He's healed people. He's cast out demons. He has raised people from the dead. And if they had comforted themselves with knowing who was in the boat with them, the one who can command death to give up its captives is in the boat with me, and he is not fearful right now. He's actually so calm, he's sleeping. What do I have to be afraid of? I wonder what would have happened if one of the disciples, or even all of them, could have taken on that sort of an attitude based on the truth, the greater truth, that Jesus, the Lord of creation, was with them. You see, fear comes when we are believing something is a danger to us or a threat to us, and we forget that there's a greater truth at play, and that is that our Savior, the King of creation, is with us. He is with us in all situations. So today, whatever you're facing, don't allow fear to reign. Allow your faith to reign. And remember, the God of creation, the King of kings and Lord of lords, is with you.